Hi folks, welcome back to another track guide. This week we are at Barber Motorsports Park. Very technical track, very tricky corners where you got to apply steering angle and brake. Incredibly taxing, but really rewarding. I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoy the track guide. I hope you find it useful. If you do, please do give it a like. Please do subscribe to the channel. And if I don't see you before, hopefully I'll see you out there on the track. Cheers. Okay, let's do the full breakdown at Barber. It's race conditions. We're on race day. It's lunchtime, and these are probably the hottest temperatures we'll find at Barber this week. 49 degrees. So at the one board, we're going to start braking. We're just going to drop a gear, and then as the curbing on the right starts, that's our cue to dip in. Obviously, we haven't got a visual cue on entry because it drops away so much. We're down to fourth, and we're just letting the brakes run out. Back on the gas for a brief period. Now, if you notice, I've tipped the wheel into the right. We want to start braking into the turn to keep ourselves tight to the inside here. And we're just coming out of the trail brake, and then we're building up the accelerator super slowly and keeping ourselves tight to that inside curb. And that will drop us off nicely on the outside, and we can maintain that steering angle to keep us tight on the inside. We want to avoid that inside curb where we can. And then when we hit the two board or just before, we're going to throw down the anchors, full threshold braking. We're going to bring the car down to second gear initially and keep the car nicely on the outside. And then we're about midway along the curbing on the right, and we can see the first apex of this tight turn looming. So we're going to start our turn in. We're starting to come out of the gas as we turn in, and then we're going to leave it quite late to drop it down into first gear. If we come out into first gear too soon, we're going to lose traction on the back wheels and we're going to spin it. So we're holding off on that first gear, getting really tight to the curb, and then building up the throttle gradually. Now, I didn't build it up gradually enough here, so I had a bit of emergency steering to do there. And then we're going to keep the car nice and tight on the inside. And then we're looking for the one board ahead. And then we're going to start our braking just as we're coming across the one board, and we're actually going to start turning as well. So that means it's really going to heavily limit our braking. We're not really going to brake super heavily yet. We're going to save that until we've done our initial curb. So we ride that inside curb, and now we're basically going to straighten up the car and cut off this left-hander and do a good bit of braking once the car is balanced and straight. So this is our braking period, and we've got this lovely well on the inside of the track there. We've got a nice bit of camber, and we really need to use that to get to coax the car round to the right without cutting off too much of our momentum. So I'm out of the brakes, and then I'm heavy in the gas while we're in that kind of gravity well there, and then we can gun up, back up through the gears, throw ourselves over to the right hand side of the track. We're going to take this flat out, but we want to limit the amount of right hand steer we've got here, so it's a nice early light steer, and that's just going to help us keep our speed as high as we can through this section. Now we're looking to the one board here, and then just as we're about to cross the one board, we tip the wheel into the left, and we're going to apply some light brushing of the brakes initially. We're going to bring the car down to fourth. We're going to let the car straighten up, and then we're going to get back on the brakes. We're going to drop down to third, and we're going to tip the car in. Again, we've got a bit of camber on our side here, right on the inside of the track. We're going to want to use that. And we're carrying as much speed through here as we can without running out of track on the left. And then we're going to dip the car in. We're back up to fourth again. And then we're just going to stay on the gas just for a real brief period. And then we're going to start applying some brake. But because we need to maintain that right hand steer, there's a very harsh limit on how much brake we can apply before the car starts to really badly lose traction, and you can very easily have a bad day on this corner. Toughest corner on the track, this. So very light on the brakes for a prolonged period, and we're going to let the car drift out towards the left hand side of the track. And we're watching that inside curb, and basically we want to hug it tight and get back on the gas real slow. And then as this curb starts on the right, we need to dip out of the gas a bit to be able to give ourselves enough turning angle to be able to latch on to the second half of this curbing on the left. If we don't get tight to this curbing and follow the second half of it round, we're going to run out of track on exit. It's deceptively tight on exit. The track starts to roll away a bit, and it wants to throw you off onto the grass. So we must be really patient coming into the throttle on that final corner exit. And that's Barber. I did this in an open setup. I got within a tenth in the fixed setup, but the car is much looser in the fixed setup. All the power's there, all the speed's there. If you're doing GT Challenge this week, I highly recommend putting the brake bias back a couple of clicks towards the rear and just go light on the brakes in these kind of faster corners. Best of luck racing here this week, guys. Give it a like if you found it useful. Please do subscribe if you want more of this. And let us know how you get on with your races in the comments below. Cheers, guys. Hopefully I'll see you out there on the track.